away by helicopter. I'd like to bring in our guest. The miners' ordeal may not be completely over once they get back to everyday life. Joining us now here in London to discuss some of the mental issues the miners could face is Dr. Tomas a psychologist and research fellow at University College London. Sir, thank you very much for being with us. We understand that they've all been in stable condition down there. Their health has been monitored down there, but once they come up is another story. What are some of the issues that we could see that they might face?
Well, as we were just watching, I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster, and I think the first 20 minutes might be just packed with excitement and joy.
That adrenaline.
Exactly, but after that, a new challenge begins, and these are people who have been, you know, in unprecedented conditions, but they will go through all sorts of emotions, but amplified by 100 times. And what we need to realize is that there's huge individual differences in how people confront these things. They were also, when they were trapped there, but working in teams, they can support each other. But now it depends a lot on their personality characteristics, on their families. And even if they have a kind of a good recovery and they adapt back to normal conditions, it won't be back to normal life ever again, because they'll get all the media attention. You know, they'll be national heroes, international heroes. Everybody will be watching them all the time.
One of the interesting things I'd like to talk about is the time factor make a difference in terms of the extent or how extensive psychological issues may be. For example, if someone is trapped for 24 hours versus someone who's trapped for 2.5 months, how different is that?
Absolutely. I think those are extreme time differences. So between 24 hours and 2 months, there is a big difference. I think probably after 2 or 3 weeks, it doesn't make that much of a difference, the actual time, but it's your prediction of what will happen afterwards that can keep you going. And that, you know, human minds are incredibly flexible, which means they can adapt to these incredible inhumane conditions, but that also makes it really hard to adjust back to normal life. So, you know, we all suffer from jet lag if we travel for 5-6 hours and have 2-3 hours time difference. This is 100 times worth.
Is this something where obviously psychological counseling will be recommended to them? But is there a sense that some of them may not, because these are, you know, these are men. They're miners, and they are hardworking men. They want to be underground. They've been holding on very, very tightly, and they have this brotherly atmosphere down there. Is there a sense that some of them may not want that kind of psychological treatment at all?
I think some might well not need it. I suspect there'll be a minority, you know, maybe just 5%. There's also a minority who won't recover, and I think we need to know this. But I think most people...
When you say not recover, what do you mean?
Well, they won't recover because they will suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder first, then they will experience, you know, anxiety for 6 months, a year. They won't habituate back to sleeping in their own bed. They'll still have nightmares about it, and they will be, you know, they might not be able to go back to work, or they might need to change careers, etc. So even though miners are, you know, have this kind of stereotype of being very tough, nobody is prepared for this, and it really depends on how resilient each personality is.
Tell me about that. You touched upon this, the effect the international attention will have on them. You know, you hear reports, you've seen articles about, talk about movie deals, book deals, all of this, you know, all that attention on these individuals. What kind of effect will that have on them?
I think, you know, most people, they won't want any attention now, most of these miners. But afterwards, again, I think, you know, it's only normal to think that they will want to profit and benefit from it. And I think, in a way, okay, there's the money, there's the fame, there's the attention, but also they can teach us a lesson, because nobody has been in this situation before. We know that NASA engineers and psychologists are there seeing how it is possible that we can live for so long in those conditions. So I think we'll hopefully all benefit and learn from their experience.
Well, let's hope, as we keep reporting, that this is a good news story, and it is a good news story. Hopefully that will continue as well. Sir,
absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time and for your thoughts. It's one thing, again, to be, you know, underground with your 32